Well, Supergirl continues to be in theaters, and as we talked, we did the review, and we're not going to review it again. I'm just saying we did the review, and I didn't like the film. I don't think it was craven bad, but it was bad to me. And I understand there are people out there who enjoy it, and that's awesome. I wish I did too, but I didn't. It totally fell on its face on its opening weekend. Then it dropped 75+%, becoming the second or third biggest second weekend drop in the history of comic book films. It's just a disaster. Poor quality, bad box office reception, not great reviews, all that kind of stuff. There's just no getting around it. Supergirl's a disaster. So if you're the folks over at Warner Brothers in DC, you should be thinking at this point, okay, let's move past this. Let's just try, we'll just get through it. We'll learn the lessons we need to learn. And now all eyes go to Lanterns and Clayface. But that's not what they're doing. The folks over at Warner Brothers and DC, Warner Brothers, whose CEO, David Zaslav, who I like a lot. You guys know I'm sometimes accused of being like a David Zaslav shill. So you guys know I like David Zaslav a lot. I think he's done a lot of brilliant moves, and he saved Warner Brothers when it certainly would have been out of business a long time ago if it wasn't for him. But I remember a year or two ago when he put out this big statement talking about, we just have seen no evidence that pulling movies out of theaters early to put them on streaming early has any benefit. We believe maintaining theatrical windows, and we believe that the films will benefit coming out on PVOD and streaming when they come out. There's no need to rush them, right? That David Zaslav is now the same David Zaslav who is behind this. Supergirl's digital release date has seemingly been revealed, and the new comic book movie could be available to rent or buy just 1 month after bombing at the box office. Here's the story. There are reports out there right now that Warner Brother has not confirmed, but the reports out there right now is that Supergirl is going to come out on PVOD on July 28th.
You gonna rent it?
32 days. 32 days after its release in theaters. 32 days. And how does this hurt Supergirl? And more importantly, DC, and more importantly, the movie industry as a whole? Because listen, leaving Supergirl in theaters for more than 32 days is certainly not going to move the needle on how much money it makes at the box office. Not at all. Like, I'm not remotely suggesting that it would do that. However, what doing this does, and I bring this up every time, is it once again further conditions the audience and further conditions the consumers that, hey, if you're on the fence about a movie, don't bother going to see it. Just wait. It'll be out in home video in a few weeks. That's all this does, is it reconditions that more and more and more. And by David Zaslav's own logic, it was like, well, putting it out 1 or 2 weeks earlier on PVOD we've got no evidence that it makes any more money for it on PVOD than if it waited a few more weeks. And so they are once again fumbling over themselves. I don't blame DC for this. This is a Warner Brothers issue because they are the distributors. DC is just the production company. But still, it just when you think they couldn't find a way to screw up more with the Supergirl situation. And if it sounds like I'm talking harshly, remember, I'm a huge flag-waving supporter of DC. I am. And I'm a huge flag-waving supporter of James Gunn, 100%. But I still call it like I see it. And they have bungled the Supergirl thing every step of the way. Starting with, as we know now, hiring a completely inexperienced screenwriter, to when they realized the film was bad, as we just found out in those articles in the trades, that there was a lot of behind the scenes creative problems with it, that they should have just Batgirled this movie initially. They botched the marketing campaign for it. It's been a complete and utter disaster at the box office. So now what do? Let's add another mistake to it. Let's make another unforced error. And in an age when all these studios are getting up on stages at CinemaCon saying, we believe in the 45-day theatrical window. We believe in longer windows, going to make more money for everybody. It's better for the whole industry, including home video, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Talk. The reality is putting this movie out on VOD at the same time that Spider-Man's about to hit theaters is not going to get you one more fucking purchase on PVOD for this terrible movie.
No.
Waiting 2 more weeks to put this movie out on PVOD re-emphasizes and re-establishes the theatrical proper window, and then you put it out on PVOD, and you're going to make every single bit of money that you would have if you released it a couple of weeks earlier without the drawbacks. And I learned that from David frickin' Zaslav, because he's the one who said it. So why not follow it? So I am just always amazed at studios and everybody. I mean, I count myself in this too, our ability to take mistakes and just keep making mistake, compounding it one on top of the other. So anyway, Rob, you saw this report. And again, let me reemphasize, these are the reports going around that is coming out July 28th. As of right now, Warner Brothers is not refuting it, but they haven't confirmed it. So all these reports are going around saying July 28th, very well probably is what they're doing. But just to be clear, Warner Brothers themselves have not confirmed it. So we may hear otherwise maybe tomorrow or within the next few days. Anyway, Rob, you saw the report. What's your first thought when you hear about this?
Well, I think, everything you just said is, I think, absolutely true. I think, but in the case of this particular movie, the movie's dead on arrival. It's not even going to make $100 million domestically. I think that there's the majority of the audience, they don't read reviews. They're not sitting on YouTube listening to us movie pundits. So I think the thinking behind this movie is a disaster of maybe biblical proportions, but we can still ride off the marketing or ride on the tails of the marketing for this movie. People know it's out. You can still buy your Kentucky Fried Chicken Happy Meal, Supergirl Happy Meal. So there's a lot of people that just aren't aware of what a disaster this is. And the Supergirl name carries weight. So the sooner they get this into an SVOD platform, you're going to reach hundreds of millions of people that don't go to the movies, that don't watch YouTube, that don't read reviews, that might be just looking for something interesting. Oh, there's a new Supergirl movie. Click. And I think getting it out on SVOD in this particular case, this is an outlier. This is a unicorn because of how bad it's doing.
Bad
And
unicorn, bad.
I actually think it can benefit the sooner it gets out.
I don't see how.
Because it's not making money at the box office.
I know, but it's not going to make one extra dollar coming out within 24 hours of Spider-Man hitting movie theaters than it would if you waited 2 weeks. Like, it's going to make the same. I haven't seen any data that suggests if they put it out on PVOD that it'll make more money now than if you released it in 2 weeks on PVOD. I think the same people, like you described them, who are sitting at home, clicking around saying, I'm looking for a movie to watch. There's Supergirl. I don't think that experience is any different than if you wait a proper amount of time than rushing it onto PVOD. When the negative word of mouth and the negative hype is at its highest point.
Right,
Like,
but that's only for people that follow that kind of hype. And I think that a lot of people, just as an impulse buy, it's going to piss off a lot of parents thinking they're going to get some kid-friendly Supergirl movie. But I think, though, that in this particular case, anything they could do, because, movies, I think one of the things that we forget, everyone who talks, all we ever talk about is box office. But I think people would be surprised to know just how much money some of these movies do bring in. I mean, I know that Predator Badlands made a lot of money. I'm not saying it outgrossed its theatrical run, but it was extremely lucrative in its secondary market space. And so I think a movie like this, anything they can do to maximize their profits would help, because it's going to otherwise be dead in the theaters. So then you have to have the theaters carrying this movie for another 2 weeks.
But I mean, you could pull them out of the theaters anytime.
Yeah,
you want.
you could, exactly.
I agree with you. Like, make as much money for it as you scrape together, whatever money you can. I just don't see any proof or evidence that suggests if you rush it out and break the proper theatrical window, which is doing damage to the industry as a whole, because we get people right into me on this show all the time saying, yeah, I go to fewer movies now because the movies I'm on the fence about I just figure it's going to be on home video in a few weeks.
Right.
Then if you just put out 2 weeks, like I'm not saying don't put it out on home video.
Sure.
I'm just saying I don't think you should put it out on home video 32 days after it hits theaters, because you are conditioning the audience to go,
No,
we'll
it's
just
true.
wait for it to come out on video.
But
I don't know.
the flip side is we've seen Obsession, Backrooms, and Project Hail Mary stay in theaters longer than they probably were expected to because of the success. So they've been riding that success. I'm just offering that as the flip side of the argument.
Yeah, and you raise a good point there. It's, and again, I'm not saying leave it in theaters so it can make more money, because it's not going to make more money. But that's a foregone conclusion at this point. So I don't know. It just seems to me, hopefully this Supergirl chapter is going to be one we can just put in the closet and forget about soon. And hopefully Lanterns will come out and all will be forgotten. If Lanterns is good, what's that? And Clayface. Yeah, exactly. And Clayface. If Clayface and Lanterns come out and they're as good as they look, we'll go, who cares about Supergirl? Yeah. Who cares what happened there? If not, it's really going to put a microscope on Supergirl and all the fumbles they had there with it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Just to put a big cap, an explanation point on the failure of Supergirl, there now reports going around that Warner Brothers is going to compound their mistakes and put it out on PVOD, while the negative hype around the movie is at its highest near the end of the month. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.